And then when I'm out, I'll tell about Panya's. DJ Spoo people. Okay, when I'm at the back, my brother, where do you come from? Yeah, when I'm my sister, Where? Where in KwaZulu Natal? Oh, Puma Wanongom. When's the teaching? Well, majority of the people are here at TUT. They're doing teaching. Actually, they come with their brothers and sisters a year ahead, and they live on campus, and they study in Pretoria. We now know what's happening. So, but welcome. I just wanted to get a feeling of the type of people that we could be having in the house. Where do you come from? Where in Limpopo? Zanin. We usually have leadership lab. I'm sure if you come in here, some of you who are coming here for the first fully, but as a department, we want to send a message that says we take our students seriously. Even here in Soshanguve, we believe that if we use these facilities strategically from this campus, Soshanguve campus, how many of you know what we... So now we're Soshanguve. So when you're studying in Soshanguve, thing that God knew that you were not going to get at VETS, you were not going to get at UCT. He wants you to become. It doesn't matter what process you get involved in, it doesn't matter what university you go through, but anybody who is serious, whatever they are, they can become a success. That's why today, most of the judges in South Africa are not from VET, are not from UCT. They are coming from University of Limpopo, in Limpopo. Because of one thing that they did, they make a decision that they are going to be better people no matter what. So even yourself, as you're coming from this campus, which is Soshanguve campus, it doesn't matter how others look at you. But if you are determined, if you are serious about becoming what you want to become in life, nobody can stop you becoming what you want to become in life. There is some change which is happening in an institution called the Road. There's an improvement. There's a guy, his name is Collins Liswalo. He's leading that program. But behind Collins Liswalo is one of the guys who's behind Collins Liswalo, who's currently a general manager at RAF in the mainland, is a man called Tsepo Mwatsi, who studied ICT in this campus, in Soshanguve campus. He's driving the biggest project in the country of billions because he's from Soshanguve campus. You know why he's able to do the things that the VETS people could not do? Because in Soshanguve you learn to have a heart for things. You learn to be able to go against all odds. So may all that Soshanguve is capable of developing in terms of leaders be your portion as well as a young person. May you not miss an opportunity because you are grumbling, you wish to be somewhere else in Stellenbosch. You are here. Make it work. The knowledge is the same whether you receive it in America, whether you receive it in VETS, whether you receive it in Potchefstroom, whether you receive it in Free State, but the same knowledge, because universities are using the same standard of knowledge, the same accreditation. So that knowledge that you're going to receive is what's going to make you either a better or a worse person. So it does not matter where you get the information, but if all of you are receiving the same information, if you're studying ICT and there's another person who's studying ICT at Rhodes, all of you have been subjected to the same textbooks, you are going to end up being a best person whether they like it or not. That's why our journalism department in South Africa, in TUT, is number 2 in the country. And people don't talk about that. Number 1, it's Rhodes, yes, but number 2 in the country in journalism, it's Soshanguve campus journalism department. Our ICT department in this campus is one of the best in the country. Our engineering faculties are topping the range in the country. We are doing better than most of these universities. So, doesn't matter. Don't look only at the walls, also look at the content, because the content is more important. So Soshanguve people, I wish you well, I wish you a wonderful engagement. We have invited Vianto today to come and engage with us. She's a lady with experience, she has seen things, and then she has seen flames, and she has learned lesson. She has a lot of things to share with us. So listen to her, engage with her. We believe in TUT that students are not tabula rasa. A tabula rasa is an empty page or an empty board. So when the speakers come here, they must know they are going to also be engaged by our students. So don't be a tabula rasa, engage. God bless you.
Thank you. Another round of applause, guys. That was moving. Thank you very much, Director. Thank you very much. One of the things that many of you may not know is that I'm also a product of this department. From top junior, peer facilitator, top senior, volunteered, because this department always encourages and motivates that we must be involved in other things other than academics as students, so that we can develop holistically. We must not only live here with just our qualifications, but we must be able to also thrive in the work environment. So, being that as it may, I'm not going to be doing everything today. So we've got volunteers in the department. So the next item will be one of the volunteers who's going to be introducing our speaker. Let's give a round of applause for Franz to come and introduce the speaker. Speak to the box.
Good morning, everyone. I go by the name of Franz Mpondi, the volunteer of the SGLD. Today, I'm very honored to present our guest, known as Ntombentle Viantomchali. Okay, so Ntombentle was born on 8 January 1982 in Tsakani and raised in Benoni. Ntombentle's formal education includes a diploma packaging management from the then Witwatersrand Technikon and project management diploma from Damelin. Ntombentle's corporate experience includes a 10-year tenure at the South African Express Airways as a supervisor crew coordinator in the operation department, and 3 years at the Auditors General Assessment Center as project administrator. Other companies previously worked for include Coca-Cola, Rand Refinery, and South African Revenue Service. She is a spiritual being and believes in God who can change any situation. Ntombentle is a preacher of the gospel, motivational speaker, founder of the clothing line, Sukuma Magami Closet, managing director and founder of a company, Vianto Training Pty Ltd, and Victory is Assured, and author of a book called I Weathered the Storm. Her work is driven by the desire to make difference and have a meaningful impact with the goal of driving open and transparent communication and engagement. She partners and works closely with a wide variety of stakeholders to help to develop high-impact campaign initiatives. Ntombentle believes and teaches that regardless of person, background, or past mistakes, God has a place for them and can help them for their path to enjoying everyday life. She speaks so assuredly about God's grace, His plans, and His love. Ntombentle is a student of life, always open to learning, growing, and doing things in an unconventional way. She is a divorced mother of 3 beautiful girls whom she affectionately calls Tembelihle, Spiwekuhle, and Minentle. She went through a great deal of chaos in her life, but rose from them all to build the rapidly growing Christian Women Ministry, VIA. Ntombentle is the founder of VIA, of non-profit women ministry called VIA, Victory is Assured, which focuses on social issues affecting girls and women via digs deep into issues that churches shies away from such as rape, abuse, divorce, abortion, and human immune deficiency virus, HIV. VIA aims to teach on various subjects based on experiences and the application of the Bible to every phase of life through conducting domestic conferences. With that being said, let's give her the round of the applause.
Good morning. Sanibonani. Dumelang. Are ladies supposed to stand up? Goeiemôre. Eyiphi eshodayo? There must be, I did say, did I? Lochani. Gwashaman Rebel. Abshen. Now I'm in Pretoria, and I believe ukuthi Pretoria, you guys have your own language. There's people from Pretoria here, right? How do I greet you? I believe you. Hola, Eita, who's it? Yeah, I believe you have your own language. You know, a couple of years ago, it was mentioned here, I used to work for the Auditor General's office. And during the training, the person that was training me was from somewhere, I think Mamelodi or something. And so after my formal training, I had to do on-the-job training. So when we sat there, she was showing me the in-house program, how to work on the in-house program. And then she said something to me. She said, now this is how we do it, and you have to find Mgete, and when you find Mgete, this is how you do it, you do this, you do that, okay? So because the Auditor General's office is next to the mall, she said to me she had to quickly run to the mall. I must do that. I must continue with what she had asked me to do. So Mina, I'm from East Rand, Mus. I heard someone is from East Rand here. Yes, I'm from East Rand. I don't speak in parables. I started looking for Mgete from the computer. I looked for Mgete. Pretorians understand this. I looked. I typed MK, there was no Mgete. I typed MO, there was no Mgete. And when she returned, I was so frustrated. And she said to me, so are we winning? I said to her, well, I understood what she said. I just can't find Mgete. You see, they're laughing at me. And I was a joke of the season, because apparently Mgete is, when you're saying, can you help us? Tell us what Mgete is. You were laughing. It means somebody. So I just felt, but Tobacco Pretoria have their own code. They should have their own language. So as I was coming here, I'm thinking, Lord, can I be able to talk to the people that I'm going to without being a joke of the season? So my name is Ntombenhle Vianto Mtshali. Ntombenhle is a name that I was given by my parents. I don't know why, but they decided to call me Ntombenhle. Vianto is a name that I gave myself. Yes. I call myself Vianto. Dr. Kaba mentioned that I have seen things, I've gone through things. And it was at a season that was very turbulent in my life that this name came about. It was mentioned earlier that I also preach, so I'm a reader of the Bible. So this one time when things were really going south, you know, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you look at yourself, you look at your life, you look at everything around you, and you feel that everything is just going south. Yonke into is just going wrong. There's just no solution. You look at, you try this, it just doesn't work out. You try the next, it doesn't work out. You pray. It seems like your prayers are not being answered. You pasha, if you believe in pasharing, it seems like your ancestors are just having a party somewhere. Have you ever experienced that situation? I was in that situation. It was very bad. It was turbulent for me. And I remember sitting in my bedroom. Actually, I was lying on the bed looking at the ceiling. and convincing myself that clearly there are problems that really don't have a solution, because my car is getting repossessed. I'm about to lose my home. I'm going through a divorce. I just had babies. My children are 11 months apart. So when I had my second born, when I had my third born, my second born was still a baby. So I'm still dealing with all of these things. At work, things are going south. Every aspect of my life is just going south. And I was convinced that there is no solution. So fast forward, I looked at the ceiling, and I remember there's a story in the Bible where there's a woman with the issue of the blood. I'm sure some of you know about that. So I thought about a part where she had a conversation with herself, and she said, if I can touch the hem of his garment, right? I completed that statement for myself and said, then my victory is assured. Okay? From that day onwards, I kept on saying, my victory is assured. It was so dark. I was in that dark corner. And in that dark corner, I kept on saying, victory is assured. Aglungi, victory is assured. And I ended up believing it. You know, at first when I was saying it, I did not believe it, because really, begupeda, you know? But I kept on saying it. I kept on saying it for myself. I kept on saying it. When they came and they repossessed the car, I remember walking away. I gave the guy the keys, and I walked away in my high heels, and I kept on saying, victory is assured. So I took victory is assured and had an acronym for it. That's why he was saying VIA. VIA is an acronym for victory is assured. So after declaring that for myself, I felt that I needed to affirm it all the time. And so I needed to affirm myself as well. So I took those first three letters, VIA, and combined them with the first three letters of my name, which would be Ntombenhle, and I came up with Vianto. And Vianto then is an affirmation to me that victory is assured from Ntombenhle. Okay? So when I introduce myself to you and I say, my name is Ntombenhle Vianto, I've already affirmed it. I've already said, victory is assured from Ntombenhle. Then Mjalige is my father's surname. I can't explain that. Okay, so VIA then grew. VIA grew. I've got two companies now. One is Vianto Trading. The other one is an NPC, non-profit company. Victory is assured. On that day, when I was lying there, looking at that ceiling, in my mind and in my heart and everything in me believed that there are problems that do not have a solution. Okay? But guess what? On that day, Vianto was born. On that day, VIA was born. And on that day, my companies were born. Because I don't have a company by Ntombenhle or Wendy or whatever, my other names that I was given by my parents. Vianto and VIA were born. I've got companies. Vianto Trading is doing fairly well. It's not where I want it to be, but it's doing well. So by that, I want to tell you, there is a solution to every problem. From this experience, I can vouch for it. There is a solution to every problem. Okay? I get invited to speak in places that I never thought I would. Not because I'm better or I speak. I'm sure most of you speak better English than me. Because mina ngithi old school. I come from, well, not Bantu education, but, you know, you guys got better education than us. Not because I speak better than other people, but because the solution was found in that problem. I want to acknowledge Dr. Kaba, but I know he's busy somewhere. I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate, and his team, of course, I appreciate this invite. Okay? So I'm old school. See, I've got a notebook here, and there's a laptop at the boot. Mara, I use this because this is my comfort zone. This is where I'm comfortable. I can have a conversation with you for 3 hours from this without me having to press. Trust me, I know how to do it. I just prefer this. This is my notebook. Even when I preach, these are some of my sermons here. I just use this book. So you will excuse me just for today. Ne? Do you allow me to use my... Thank you. So, what's your name? Franz. Franz read my profile, and one of the things that he mentioned was that I'm a mother of 3. My last born, Minentle, is in grade RR. She's 5 years old. She's in grade RR, and in her class, there's something that they do, which I find very interesting. They take turns in being a leader of the day. So in other words, today will be so-and-so's turn, the next day will be your turn, the next day, you know. And when I went to the teacher to find out what is it that they do, because she would come home all excited. Mommy, I was a leader today. Mommy, I was a leader. And so I ended up going to the teacher to find out what this leadership is about. And she explained to me that the children are then given, they take a nap during the day. So it's her responsibility to get the mattresses for her classmates, and she knows whose pillow, you know, she puts the pillows, she's the one that does it for them. And then they take the walk to the toilet, and they go behind her. She's in front, and she would take them to the toilet. When they get to the boys, they all stand there, and she allows the boys to go in and walk, and allow the girls to go in. Then she stands, right, waits for them to finish. When everyone is finished, she can then go and relieve herself, and then they all go back and take a nap. But from this exercise, I have observed how excited and confident and reliable and responsible she has become. And I always say, I wish I had been given that at that age. I'm happy for you guys that your leaders have decided to have such sessions for you, where your leadership, the leadership in you, gets to be nurtured. Okay? So I want us today to talk about the 3 things that I've observed from Eminently from that exercise. One is confidence. Okay? Confidence, the first one. The second one, responsibility. The third one, reliability. We're just going to talk about those 3. Okay? Are you still here? Yes. Okay. Now, confidence. And I have found these to be helpful in my own space, along the way. Confidence. There's a gentleman whom I was watching the past couple of weeks. I'm not sure if I want to mention his name, but he was litigating with AfriForum. And yeah. And this gentleman said something which really drew my attention to him. He said to this guy who is supposed to be his opponent, he said to him, I am going to be the president of this country. Right? That's the first thing that he said. The second one, he said, whether you like it or not. Okay? Now he's talking to somebody who's actually supposed to vote for him. But he says, I am going to be the president of this country, whether you like it or not. And the third one, he said, you better deal with it. It's best that you deal with it. Because it's going to happen. And whether we agree with him or not, whether we like him or we don't. Because of the level of confidence in himself that he expresses, you are bound to pay attention to him. You want to know why is this guy so sure Guti he's going to be the president? Now, I want you guys today to learn that there is a huge difference between confidence and conceit. Okay? There's a difference between arrogance and confidence. We are not talking about conceit. Conceited people need the whole day. We'll talk about them some other day. I want us to talk about confidence. When you express yourself with confidence, people listen to you. Do you realize that? But once you start being arrogant and speaking as if people will just even falter you. Imagine had I walked in here and said, I'm the most beautiful girl in this room. Someone would have said, I'm sure you did not even notice that I have a big head. But I said to you, I'm Ntombenhle. What does Ntombenhle mean? It means a beautiful girl. It's my name. So I said, I'm Ntombenhle. I just said it. Whether you accept it or you don't, it's a fact. It's my name. I am Ntombenhle. But had I said, Yabona la, nonke, benzothi yo unanekiss madolo. Do you get my point? So there's a huge difference between confidence and conceit. So I want us to focus on confidence, and I want to share with you today on issues on how to boost your confidence. Right? The first one, I hope some of you are taking notes. The first one, own your SWOT analysis. Those who are studying business will tell you that an organization would have to have, their own SWOT analysis. Your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But it's also important for you to have that as an individual. Be honest with yourself. Look at yourself. What are my strengths? What are my strengths? Do you know your strengths? Am I putting you under the bus now? Am I putting you? Okay. I was told we're going to engage, but yeah. Know your strengths. Know your weaknesses. Know your opportunities and your threats. I always say that, when Dr. Xaba said, this one has seen life, and she has, I have seen life, and I've made a whole lot of mistakes. As a teenager, as a young adult, as an adult now, I've made a whole lot of mistakes. But I'm one person that will admit to their mistakes, and therefore you cannot use them against me. You can never use my mistakes against me. I can walk in here and say, yeah, this is the girl that did this in 1957. Well, I was not born then, but you did this and this and that. I probably have written about it in my book. Because I know my weaknesses. Know your weaknesses. Nobody can use that against you. So your confidence is then boosted from the point that I know who I am. I know where I'm weak. I know where I'm strong. So that cannot be used against me. But I can also use those to my advantage. Okay? That's the first one. The second one, don't give in to your doubts. Your own doubts. I liked what Dr. Xaba said. He asked all of you where you're coming from, and he said, you are here today. Nila, someone might be saying, no, you should have gone to this university or that university, or you should have done this because of this and whatever and whatnot. That is something that will whisper in your ears all the time. Maybe this one is better than me. Maybe this one, because they've got this qualification, so it means this one is better than me. Do not ever allow doubt yourself. And self-doubt will always be there. You see, there's nothing wrong there's a Chinese program, I don't know what they call it, the yin and the yang. I don't know if you know about that, black or white. In spirituality or in religion, we call it the voice of reality and the voice of authority. So the voice of reality would be that when you know, Hori, you left parents that are unemployed at home, and you are here because of NFSAS, and what do you think you'll amount to? I mean, there's kids who park their Maseratis here, and when you just walk in. Those voices will always, it's part of life. It should be like that. But you never, ever allow yourself to listen to those voices. Once you know your weakness, nothing can be used against you. So don't allow self-doubt to limit you. Find a role model. Do you have role models? Your role model doesn't have to be Oprah. I know when I was growing up, people would ask me, who's your role model? And I would say Oprah. Why? Because she's the richest black woman in the world. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. Trust me, it's not wrong to have a role model like that. But I prefer that when we choose our role models, now that you have done your SWOT analysis, you know your weaknesses, look at someone who masters your weaknesses. So in other words, if you are the person who does not stick to their word, find someone whom you've seen, this woman or this my peer is consistent. When she says she's going to do something, she does it. Okay? There's a lady down the road from your house who sells ice blocks and the keep and whatever, and she's been doing it for years. And that woman has built a home for her children. She has educated her children. Know the ice. That woman is consistent. She's, we don't have to look for people in the soap operas to be our role models. Find people who really have mastered what you regard as your weakness. Okay? Are we still together? Yes. Okay. Now we're going to talk about responsibility. Responsibility, I know there's some of you guys are leaders here, right? So I'm going to touch both, leaders and those that are not leaders as yet, because I believe that all of us are leaders in our own right. Okay? So responsibility, how do you become responsible? Udula Morez, do you stay here at the rest? Okay. So when you wake up in the morning, what do you do? Okay, when Angaru, you are my victim. Mara, just answer, it's fine. You are next to me.
I go to the shower.
Okay, you go to the shower and do you clean your room?
Yeah.
Well, I've stayed at Res, so I know. You do clean your room, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know that is your responsibility. Okay. And there are those who are sharing. There's double rooms and there's your section and the other one, whether they clean or not, it's not your responsibility, right? So in order for you to know or to master that part of being a responsible person is through you defining the roles. You've got to define roles for yourself. What are my duties? In corporate, we call them duty rules. What are your roles? If your class starts at 8 o'clock, what time do I wake up? If my class finishes at 11 o'clock and I did not have time in the morning to, because, the truth is, sometimes we oversleep. But if you know that there's something that you did not do, that you are supposed to be responsible for, when your class finishes at 11 o'clock, what do? Do you still hang out with your friends? Because back there's something that you need to do. So you've got to define your roles clearly. And you have got to adhere to those roles. And this is for leaders. The next one. This is for leaders. Give positive and constructive feedback. Okay? Give positive and constructive feedback. So I'm leading you. I go for break. I'm leading you, right? And we have defined the roles, okay? Now, you are doing something that is not according to the rules. It is my responsibility to give a positive and constructive feedback. How do we do that? How do you give a positive? You learn how to speak to people. Your language, mind your language. The most senior person in this room was the director, right? Dr. Qab. Imagine had he come here and said, yeah, Nina. Would you have listened to him? Automatically in your mind is that, you have all these things that you want to say to him because of his approach. So it is of greatest importance that you know how to speak to people. Respect. Have that level of respect for someone else. It doesn't matter how angry you are. It doesn't matter how things are done or not done. Have a way, have a better tone to speak to people. Imagine him walking in and saying, yeah, these things are not done. Right? I'm talking to the guys that are technical here. Yeah, why didn't you put this? Why didn't you put that? You've already switched off. But had he walked in here and said, but guys, I'm really upset with you. We spoke about this. You were supposed to start at 7 o'clock. That's a different tone. And you receive it differently. So you learn to speak to people. You teach yourself how to speak to people. The third one, ask for help. Ask for help. Don't ever think that by asking for help you are stupid. You are not. My kids say this. She's not the sharpest pencil in the box. Sharpest tool in the toolbox. Because you are asking questions. You will never learn until you ask. If you don't know and if you don't understand, ask. When I started in aviation, I had no idea what was happening. It was during the World Cup in 2010. And I had just lost my job and, you know, I had no direction. So I had just applied for a temporary position for data capturing post-flight. So I took it because I was thinking, you know, it's just going to put bread on the table. So I went for an interview. On the interview, I think I did well because then I did not even get to do the data capturing. They sent me into a different department altogether. When I got there, it's a department where aircrew, we know the flight attendants and the pilots. It's the department where the aircrew is signing on. Mind you, I did packaging management. I know how to package this. I have no idea who the pilot. There's a captain, there's a first officer, there's cabin crew, senior cabin crew, there's junior cabin crew, and there's duty rules around that. And so I got into that space. Within 3 months, I had learned. But how did I learn? I asked questions. So why do you have 4 stripes? Why do you have 4 stripes? And you'd say, I'm a captain. Oh, okay. What does that even mean? Gives me I've flown so many hours and this makes me a captain. Oh, okay. Why do you have 3? I'm a senior first officer. What does that mean? You know, where do you sit in a cockpit? I wanted to know. I had nothing to do with that. It didn't matter whether I knew where the first officer sits or whether in the right or in the left. It really was neither here nor there. But I wanted to know. And guess what? By the time I left aviation, I was in a management position. With no experience, I've never flown, I've never been a cabin crew member. But I was managing crew members. You know why? Because I wanted information. I was not shy to ask. I was not afraid to ask. So teach yourself to ask questions. Ask when you need help, okay? And don't become a victim of privilege. I'm gonna say this again. Do not become a victim of privilege. Let me say it for the last time, for free this time. Do not become a victim of privilege. What do I mean by that? Again, I'm going to make an example with myself. When I went to tertiary, I did not know how to cook. My mother had not taught me how to stand in the stove and cook pap, and I had no idea what cooking was about. Can you cook? Can you? I did not know how to cook. My mother used to say she doesn't want to eat food cooked by children because we don't wash our hands or something like that. Something crazy like that. So I did not know how to cook mean. So my friends would run home, bahambe bayopheka, and I would watch SABC 1, 2, and 3. Well, I guess later there was ETV. While my mother was cooking. That was a privilege for me, right? It was a privilege for me. So I went to tertiary. When I got to tertiary, I was eating at dining hall. I would go to dining hall, buy a piece of chicken and have bread and eat it with, you know. But I realized when I was there that, so now I'm not going to be able to cook that. No, I can't do that. So when my mom would send me money, we would go to Cresta. I was at Vets Technicon at that time. It was still Vets Technicon. We would go to Cresta to buy groceries. And I would buy, now I'd start buying bupi, you know, and all those things. I remember I cooked, my first meal was rice and mince. And my rice was literally floating, like it was swimming. But guess what? I taught myself. I refused to be a victim of privilege. I'm a mother of 3 today. Imagine if I didn't know how to cook. How would I be feeding my children? Would we be going to Wimpy all the time for breakfast and for lunch? With what money? So don't allow yourself to be a victim of privilege. There are things that you are getting today that may work against you tomorrow. Teach yourself things. Go out there and teach yourself. It's okay for men to know how to do the garden. And women. And women. So don't allow yourself to be a victim of privilege. Now the last one, reliability. Okay? We're going to talk about reliability. When I got my first promotion in aviation as a junior manager, we were taken to Dyna. Dyna is a company that does training. So in Dyna, we were taught this, and I wrote it down. We were taught that a reliable leader is one who helps another person, gadget, or machine to do better. A reliable leader is one who helps someone to do a better job. You become reliable when you are able to help other people. In my shift, well, I used to work 8 to 4. But you know, at the airport, there's shift workers. So they start at 4:30 in the morning and finish at 1 o'clock. The other one would start at 1 o'clock and finish at 10 o'clock. So I came back and I realized there would be times where when my person is late as a leader, when the person that is supposed to be at the desk is late, the one that's starting at 4:30, the manager on duty on that day will not call that person that is late. They will call me and say, please log on. So at 4:30, I would then have to wake up and log on as if I'm on standby so that I make sure that flights depart on time. Then I realized that no, man, I've got to enable these people to do a better job. So I sat with them, as they came in and out. So where do you stay? I stay in Soweto. Okay, do you have a car? Yeah, I do. How do you get to work? I don't have a car. How do you get to work? Sometimes there's transport, sometimes there isn't, and whatever and whatnot. So I then decided, okay, so the ones that are closer will get the morning shift because it makes sense. If you are in Kempton Park and you're going to the airport and you are mobile, so let's get you the morning shift because then you are able to start at 4:30 and finish at 1 o'clock. The one that's in Soweto and does not have a car will then start at 1 o'clock because then they can take taxis from 11 o'clock or whatever time and be at work at 1 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock at night, there's transport at the airport. So it worked better for me and it worked better for them. So when you become reliable, you are considerate. You look at people, you ask people, how can I help? How do you help other people to do a better job in their spaces, in your own space? How do you do that? You look for things that you'd be able to help them with, okay? When you are a leader, when a leader is reliable, people can depend on them. People can depend on you if you are reliable. But how do you become reliable? You honor your word. Don't tell us that you are going to get us water and not. Because you will do it the first time and do it the second time. And the third time you're going to say, no, pambenelo. Nobody will listen to you because you don't honor your word. It's important that you must honor your word. I'm closing. In conclusion, life is about to happen for you guys. Life is really about to happen. And it is my wish for you that you may experience the best of it, whether good or bad. Because life is good and bad. I wish you all the best in your studies, in your families, and every aspect of your life. But most importantly, I wish that you can be more kind to yourselves. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, these things are off. A round of applause to Vianto. I think this is the moment that we spoke about the Q&A, that anything goes. While she's still here, we ask about anything in life. I'm sure we were all awake when they were reading her profile, so anything in relation to that will still be acceptable, right?
Yes.
Yes. Anyone? A hand? All right.
Hi, everyone. My question is to Ms. Vianto. Would you say that your life experiences have molded you fully, entirely into becoming what you are today? And I have another question. What do you think makes a good leader? So that when you're coming up young and you want to get yourself into certain positions, how can you have that outlook in your life to say, this is where I'm directing myself to being a good leader?
Okay. So the first one is, would I say my life experiences have molded me? I would, definitely. But you said something about fully and completely. I believe that for as long as you are alive, you learn. So I cannot, it's a journey, it's a life journey. I cannot say I'm there. I've reached the top. For as long as you're alive, you must allow yourself. And I'm answering the second one as well. Continue to teach yourself, allow yourself, open the room for you to grow more. So yes, my experiences have definitely contributed in where I am today. That's the first one. The second one is what makes a good leader. What makes a good leader is the one that one is open to learning, opens a room to accepting also that he may falter as a human being. So teaching and learning makes a good leader.
Is there any question, guys? There's a hand.
Hi everyone. I wanted to know when it comes to like being like reliable and stuff like that.
Yes.
Let's say is there like necessary steps you can take to be like reliable? Because sometimes, you know, like different priorities can like pop up like at multiple times. So is there like specific steps that can help in like making a person to be like more reliable?
I like that. I like what you said when you said different priorities. The first one is to prioritize. What is more important, you know? I think in every aspect, but we are talking about reliability now. Prioritize what must come first. And then you put them according to your steps, you know, according to what is important at that time. Remember, we are dealing with different people. So you can't satisfy everyone. But just become somebody that is reliable to the people. You can't satisfy everyone. Just prioritize and become reliable, even to your own word. You know, I believe it starts there. Once you promise yourself, be reliable even to your own word, to yourself. Yeah. Are you answered? Yeah, okay.
Okay. Hi, good morning. Good morning. Okay, I go by the name of Precious. Okay, you mentioned that you have been through a lot. So like, I've noticed that as students, we also go through a lot, especially anxiety, depression. So how did you handle such situations, more especially depression? Because we know that a lot of students, they do commit suicide, things like that. So how did you handle such situations?
I'm glad that you asked that question, because I actually wrote about that. I started, my first diagnosis of depression was when I was at RES, when I was at school. In my book, I tell that story. And I fell in and out of depression, and at some point I was diagnosed with severe depression. Firstly, I accepted it. I accepted that I had depression. Most of us don't. We are told, "Wahlanya," in our society. Excuse the French, I normally speak Zulu. But for the benefit of this exercise, I will just use the words that I used. They will tell you that wahlanya, university. And it is actually here that you start to see life differently from what you know it to be. Right? It's here that you get frustrated. You don't even know if this is right or this is wrong. Should I do it? Should I not do it? Is it allowed? Is it not allowed? You know, you enter a different world altogether. Accept that, okay, now it means I'm depressed. What do I do with that? Consult. Take treatment. Listen, I'm 40 years old. I turned 40 on the 8th of January. I'm still taking antidepressants. This morning before I came here, I took my antidepressants because mine is chronic. My depression is chronic. And I'm not afraid to say that. I'm sure when I walked in here, you did not think, oh, this lady might be having depression. And some of you are starting to change the way you are looking at me. No, I'm normal. I'm all right. I'm just taking my treatment. And it's okay to do that. So just accept, consult. If medication is prescribed for you, take it. You know, as prescribed. And you'll be fine. I'm sure you didn't know I have it now. Did anyone of you think, Mara, I need depression? No, because I'm taking care of myself. Okay?
Okay, the next question is from me.
Yes.
Just sit down. This one is more or less of a personal question to you.
Yes.
As a kind of leader that you are, and I believe that you are, you know, I just wanted to ask this question because I've seen it a lot, especially in people who are trying to equip themselves to be leaders. When you got into the space of work that you were in, you know, before you even got the promotion, or let me say, what do you think, or what certain character do you think you have developed for you to earn the promotional post that you have? The reason I'm asking that is because I've seen young people who have equipped themselves to such an extent that qualification-wise they are fine. When you look at their characters, it's very well. And all they do is the hard work part, being acknowledged with that kind of position of being a leader. Do you think, what does it really take for you to outshine everyone? Thank you.
Okay. I was inquisitive. I see that in my daughter. I'm very inquisitive. You can't just give me this and well, I'm glad it's a package because I studied packaging management. You can't just give me this and say this is still water, drink. I want to know who bottles this. Where does this water come from? Why is the lid like this? Yeah, but I ask like a 5-year-old. So I always want to learn. And let me tell you how I got the promotion, by the way. So my supervisor, okay, remember I said to you I was meant to be a temp for 3 months. And they extended to 6 months. And then I guess they liked me or they liked how I worked and I ended up, getting a permanent post. A year or so later, my supervisor went on leave, right? And when he went on leave, he asked me to act in his position. Biggest mistake. I changed everything. I changed the admin side of things. I wanted to know, why do we have to put this on paper and on computer and then report later? Why are we not changing this? Why the admin, the reporting line, why does it have to be like this? I changed things. Then they said, no, you know what? Rather stay here, yabo? And then when they gave him a better position, thank God. They gave him a better position. I was then reporting to him. He was more senior than me. But they kept me here because I changed the entire environment. I didn't want to be given something and be okay with it. I'm just that person. Teach yourself, allow yourself to learn. I think that's my message for the day. Allow yourself to learn. Ask questions. You're not stupid when you ask questions. Change things, test things. Test, see if it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Are you answered? Okay.
Hello. My question is, at what point of your life did you decide, okay, today I'm waking up and I'm writing a book telling people about your life, where you've been, and why did you do it? Because I don't think you can and say, I want to tell people about my life.
That's a good question. Do you want to clap him for him? The book was written for students, for mothers, for fathers, for boys, for girls, for everyone, okay? So I looked at my life. Remember I mentioned that I speak about the mistakes that I made, in the book. I made a whole lot of mistakes, make no mistake. I made a whole lot of mistakes. I'm a mistake, I'm a name. And then I realized that people need to hear this. People think, life is living, what's the word? Why is this term escaping me now? People think it's all beautiful, all things bright and beautiful. It's not the case. So I wanted to share this. And also, it was mentioned that at VIA, I speak to women a lot. So I would engage with women. Utole, a woman saying, I don't want my children to have a relationship with their father because that man hurt me. Some of us are coming from broken families. That man hurt me and I don't want my children to have a relationship with their father. But I know how that affected me. Not having a relationship with my father affected me, even my decision making at some point in life. And so I felt, so I would then have to talk to the child who I was once, and I would have to talk to the mother whom I understand, so that we are able to meet each other halfway. Do you get my point? So there were a whole lot of things that I observed, and I realized, no, I really need to write a book. Are you answered? Yes. And in that book, I'm very naked. Well, not literally, of course, but I just tell it as it is. I speak it as it is. So yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yuri. I would like to ask a question. How do you go about choosing a role model who is not a famous person? The reason why I'm asking is that I have a role model who's a wrestler. I'm a big fan of wrestling. But when I check, like, I've got a parent who's a single parent, like, has been supporting me, but I cannot testify and say, like, my parent is my role model. Instead, I looked up into somebody who's a role model than my parent.
But who says your parent has to be a role model?
No, I just want to have a role model.
I get that.
Okay.
I get what you're saying. But who says your parent has to be a role model? I'm asking you guys. Why do you think your parent has to be a role model? Are you answering? Yes.
Okay, can I just give you the speaker? Sorry. I think the next time we should get 2 of this. Okay.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Atlakhan. Oh, okay. The reason why I want to answer that question is because, as you said, that if you were raised by a single parent and you have a role model elsewhere and that parent is not a role model, sometimes you feel like you are not appreciating them enough. Sometimes they make us feel guilty by saying such things of like, no, I'm your parent, I do everything for you, but you look up to the next person, am I not enough? It's inequity, they complain a lot. So maybe you then shift your mind and say, you know what, maybe I should look at this person in a different manner because they do so much for me rather than the next person and all that. So we do it out of guilt and shame, but not because of, yes, but not because of we really look up to them because of certain aspects that we like, but it's because of shame and guilt. And when they're speaking to the other colleagues at work and say that, Yasmina, umtanam, so, they explain all their issues. So we do it to hide shame from also our friends. But when you don't get the same. So maybe it's just because of that. So I wanted to hear an answer from you.
Okay.
Yes,
You're bringing an aspect that I didn't think of, you know, guilt. I was thinking loyalty. Maybe you guys feel good, you really have to. Number one, a role model, you don't have to have one role model. It doesn't have to be just one person because Angiti life has different aspects. So this one can be a role model in business. Like my former boss, she doesn't actually even know this. My former boss, Cindy Khoza, I will mention her name. She's my role model because she's one of the people who came into the industry, lost completely and whatever. She didn't even know what was happening there. But when she left aviation, she was top. She was there. But I can't say she's a better role model than my mother. You know what I mean? So in that aspect, she's my role model. But also, I want to touch on that. You don't have to feel guilty. Sure. My mother is not really my role model. She has done so well in raising us. She raised us alone, by the way. She has done so well. You know, she did very well. She's got her own mistakes as a human being, of course. You know, mothers are also human, so they make mistakes, and so do fathers. But I wouldn't really say my mother is a role model. I'm sorry if this would offend her, but she's not really my role model. She's the person that raised me. I don't have to feel guilty about it. She raised me. She did well. Well, if I see you shaking your head, just tell them they are. Just say you are my role model, but you know the wrestler is your role model. I get it doesn't. they won't know that. But I'm just saying to you, you don't have to feel guilty for choosing your own role model. Remember when I spoke earlier, I said a role model is somebody that masters your weaknesses. That's how you choose a role model. Find someone who masters your weaknesses and look up to that person. So if Mama doesn't master, in fact, if she's the opposite, or Ratwana, why does she become my role model? But I get what you're saying. Yeah, just don't tell them you've got other role models. Okay. Oh, there's another one.
My question is based on your company, VIA. I wanted to understand why you started it and then how far are you with it, and then what else? Oh, I wanted to know how are you reaching out to the young girls who are being abused, because I believe as a country we are going through a lot based on the gender-based violence. The youth is on high ratings of HIV and AIDS. So I want to know how far you are with your initiative.
Okay. The first one is that how far it is.
Why you started your company?
Why I started my company. The same reason why I wrote my book, the NPC. The non-profit company is VIA, Victory is Assured. And it's meant to address such issues. Not only for, well, at first, initially when it started, it was only meant for young girls and women. But later, I realized that the issue is not getting solved when we are dealing with a girl and not a boy. So it includes everyone, men, women. I host conferences. I've got another one on the 21st of March now this year. I host conferences annually, and I invite men and women, and I invite stakeholders that have interest in such issues, you know, like your social workers, your psychologists and stuff. And after the conference, after we've spoken and people need help, they're able to get that help. So I started it because I saw the need for it. I'll just be blunt like that. I saw the need for it, and especially because some of us grew up in church, and you know, church most will shoot, we are holy, we are prim, and we are proper. Kanti kuyashisa move, you know? So it's a safe space. It's a space where we can just express ourselves and cry and yeah, do all those things except hlebering. We don't hleba. We just cry, we just express ourselves, we get help from that. And also because when I was going through my divorce, I became very suicidal. As I said, I've got 3 children. At some point, I wanted to kill myself and my children. And the only thing that stopped me on that day was when I saw on the news, there was a woman who had actually killed herself with her 3 sons. And it means I've got 3 daughters. And for me, it became too personal. And it was too much of a coincidence. I had already planned, I was gonna do it that evening, you know. But when I saw that, I realized, someone is saying something here, I'm not gonna do this. But I realized that there's a need, not only for the parents, but for the children. So yeah, that's why VIA came about. She's got another one. There's a follow-up question.
I was hoping you could answer the one on how are you reaching out to those young people?
Through the stakeholders that are able to assist. I thought I did. Sorry. Are you not answered? No. How? How are you not answered?
I agree, for instance, for a victim of gender-based violence or anxiety, depression, it's not easy to go to someone and say, I'm having this problem. So I was asking Hori, how does your company, your stakeholders reach out to these young people so that they can speak out?
You see, I can only do so much. There's no way you can make a person do something. I introduce tools. I say, like I'm expressing myself with you guys, I'm saying, Mina, I take antidepressants. You know, I'm saying to you, I have severe depression, which is chronic. Now, it becomes your decision thereafter. Do I talk to this lady? Or, you know, I can only do so much. So that's what the company does. We open tools, we give people the opportunity to come to us. And when they do, we then seek help, professional help, that we can assist with. Are you answered now? Okay.
Hello. My question, I have 2 questions. One of the questions is based on what you said about the suicidal episode you had and to take your kids with. Do you ever feel a sense of guilt for what you could have done at that certain moment? And if yes, like how did you deal with that guilt? And then my second question is, do you think males are catered for in the mental health department? Are they given enough attention? Because most of the time when they say gender-based, it's both genders, but the focus is on females. Mm-hmm. So would you say that males are not catered for enough as women?
Let me answer the first one. So the other day, I had a TV interview. I don't remember the channel, but I was there and I was telling the story. So my children were watching. So there's a part where I said, so I wanted to kill myself with my children, and my daughter was like, oh. Like she looked at me like, you know, and I had to explain myself. You see, I believe that, look, I do feel guilty. I do feel guilty, not because of having those thoughts or wanting to take that action, but I feel guilty for not treating myself at that time, because I could have really done it. I was going to do it. Suicide is another subject altogether. It's funny that you should ask me this, because I was having this conversation yesterday with my friend. There's this voice that will tell you, especially now, you see now, it's a season where people are actually killing themselves. So this voice, even to me, comes to me and says, Mara, Bega, abantu abanemali have killed themselves. When I mean, now. Even now. So if you're having those thoughts, just know that we don't want to define it as normal, but it happens to the best of us, okay? Once you see someone big, like the one that just passed away, Rick, yes, may his soul rest in peace. It will come, that voice will come. Suicide thoughts never leave. I read his letter, I was feeling guilty for reading it, but I actually understood, because I've experienced it, I understood what he meant when he said, the voices never left. And then you find people saying, this guy has money, this guy has Gucci from what to what, how can he do that? Even while he's wearing Gucci from up to bottom, the voices never leave. And so it is important, I cannot emphasize this enough. It is important to treat it. It's like any medication that one has to take. If you're HIV positive and you're at the point where you have to take your ARVs, take them. I don't think in 2022, kunabantu who can still die of HIV/AIDS, right? In 2022, HIV is like flu, really. I mean, HIV is, I'm not saying, you know, let's treat it like that. But I'm saying it's not as scary as it was in you know, when it all started. But HIV will kill you if you don't take medicine. If you don't take your treatment and when you're supposed to, it will kill you. Depression will kill you if you don't take treatment for it. If you don't treat it as a disease, it will kill you. So those voices, rather, have a potential of winning, because you're not treating it. You must know. I always say, people ask me, how do you know you are depressed? There is nothing normal about wanting to harm yourself. There is absolutely nothing normal about that. So when you have that thought, hey, consult. And it's okay to consult. Black child, it's okay to consult. Awuhlani, it's okay. You're allowed to consult. That was the first one. The second one,
I was asking, do you think that there are
black men, yes. Men, rather. I think we are just not paying enough attention to depression on its own, you know, as a disease, as a sickness. We are not paying enough attention to it. And we're making it worse to focus on ladies and women, or young girls and women. Because, I mean, there are men who are abused out there. And that's because we said it's women that get abused. So there's no definition for what they're going through. So yes, I do believe that we need to do better in that aspect. You know, we really need to do better in that aspect. We all going through things and we all need help, one way or the other. Are you answered?
Thank you very much.
Okay, can I go with it?
A round of applause for her. Yeah, that was a fruitful session. Gents, you heard most. It's okay to consult. We are also being abused, but a black Sam. But there's no point of gaining knowledge without application. So whatever that you have learned today, please apply it in your life, and apply it while it's still fresh. Because if you don't, by the end of the week, you'd have forgotten about this session because there will be another breaking news. So reflect on your life, reflect on your choices, and then see how you can make them better and decide better. Yes, ma'am?
Can I say something?
Yes.
Sorry, ma'am. I have a feeling that there would be people that would like to talk to me. You know.
Definitely.
Saidana. So I will leave my number and I will give you my socials. Ne?
Yes.
My phone number is 082 Okay. 082 766 4549. Should I repeat? 082 766 4549. Socials, Ntombentle Vianto Mchali on Facebook, Vianto NM on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter. Yeah, it's Haba Ew.
I wanted to say you're missing out, but it will seem I'm promoting one over there. It's okay. You got that TikTok?
My children are on TikTok though, I just don't know what their handle is.
I'm also not on TikTok. Maybe I should get on it.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm still young. I'm very young. Hey, I'm very young. Don't let's go to Sagiri Lote. Everyone can grow them, man. There's oils sold everywhere. Yeah. But yeah, just to close up today, guys, thank you very much. You've been a brilliant audience. You behaved. If I want anything more than this, I don't know what else I'll be wanting. You carried yourself with the art. Guys, you are perfect. Give yourself a round of applause, man. So for those that are interested in, they posted an interesting question yesterday about female in leadership position. Leadership, mind you, does not only limit you to politics. So leadership can be broadened to other spheres of life, in corporate, society, and everything. There's only one way you'll be able to know that you can lead or not. It's by throwing yourself in the hat into leadership positions, and then you learn from that. So you learn through leadership. No one is perfect. We are students here. We cannot expect fully finished products. So we are all in the process of learning. That's why we are in school in the first place. But allow yourself to broaden the wings and do other things other than your academics, but without compromising your academics. So put academics first, but also remember you still have to develop in other aspects of lives. And the mental health issues, currently, it's actually a big thing. We take it lightly until it happens to someone who's well known. But if you are honest with yourself, we have it in our families. You can pick it up in your families. You have that brother that you think does not want to be anything in life, sitting at home not knowing what to do. You ignore them because they are not well known, because they don't create content. So look out for people around you, your friends, your classmates, people who are around you, around your surrounding. You'd find that there's a lot of people who need support. So let's always be willing to extend an olive branch and just listen to them. Sometimes it does not require much. Just give them that attention that they require, a platform to express themselves. You don't always have to have all the answers. Just be there. And chances are little nale. So I'll feel a number yeah, now to that important Not that the session was not important, to that other important program of the day. My volunteers, I need you to usher them in this way. Volunteers